Thanks for coming. The idea in this presentation is to show you our three basic in ventilation that we are finding in our visit. I think in the last 18 months, we have more or less 122 barn evaluation, and usually we are finding three very important points that we think the producer need to be in the farms at the slot level. The first point is about the ventilation goal definition. Not all the pig producer has clear ventilation goals. What's mean? CFM needs. You could calculate CFM needs in accordance to the CFM per pig, CFM per pound. In the case of the BAC, we are recommending to work with CFM per pig, but it's not mandatory. And our recommendation for minimum ventilation is 2 CFM for winning pigs and 14 CFM per market pigs. No? In the other important indicator to be clear in goals is air speed at inlet, curtain, or cooling pad. In the case of the inlet, for example, we could work from 400 feet per minute if we have a small nursery room in the middle of the winter, for example. But we can go until 1,000 if we have heavy market pigs in the middle of the fall or spring in large rooms. And that has relation with the static pressure that Jay mentioned before. In the case of the curtain, we could work between 600 until 700 feet per minute, depending on your building design. Or in the case of the cooling pad, we could cross air across through the cooling pad between 300 until 400, depending on the cooling pad design too. Other indicator is humidity. Our recommendation is to work with less than 65% of the humidity. Or is temperatures. We have 3 points here. One is our desired room temperature. The second one is our bandwidth, spring, fall, summer, winter, etc. We will change this bandwidth. And the third point is the temperature difference into our room. What will be our goal between ends, for example, in our room, or if we will have some difference between in the middle of in the barns or in the extreme of the barns. I will back to the desired room temperature because that indicator depends on your peak weight, depends on your comfort zone type, and depends on your barn design. And the last point, important point, is about the gases level. We have at least 4 gases that we need to take care in our building. No? So, about the desired room temperature, accurate goal. We know our room temperature will depend on our building design and if we have comfort zone or not. So if we have plastic flooring, curtain, for like the example I'm showing you, and we have 11 pounders in our building and we don't have any comfort zone, maybe our room temperature need to be 87. But if we are going to the 14 pounder, maybe we can drop in 3 degrees Fahrenheit. If we are adding a good comfort zone means brooder and mat, maybe we could drop our room temperature in 11, 10 degrees Fahrenheit. So if we have one scenario in a slat, solid side, 14 pounders, very good comfort zone, maybe we could work with 70, 72, 73. Why is important? Because the temperature means cost. So accurate goal means cost. No? If we define our goals, we have our next big opportunity in our pig producer. Use the ventilation tools to measure your goals. So we have tools, Kestra tools, for example, for air speed, for humidity, temperature guns for the temperatures, or lasers if we want, or some gases level devices. So if we have the goals, we need to measure the goals to know if we are working well or not. 2 basic things, but most of the time when we are visiting the farms, the people don't have the tools. No? Or we find this kind of the scenario. The people say, well, I am feeling very good air in my head, so I am assuming we have 600 feet per minute. That is good. But what will happen when we train the people? How we can train the people if we depend on the people? So if we have the tools, we can know exactly what is our measure, what is our challenge, and if we need to fix or not the problem, or we don't have any problem. Usually, the people react to the visual. So this is a big troubleshooting challenge. Why? In this example, you can see some wet slat, chill peaks, and a little pile peaks. And for sure, we can assume we have chill peaks because we have wet floor, and we will have some health problems, and for sure, some performance problems. But the people don't see the big picture, the real picture. So maybe the people say, the first thought is, well, I could set my heater different, and I will resolve the problem. That is the first thought. The big picture is, if we have, this is an example, low air speed in our inlet, we are producing incorrect air mixing rate. That will produce more humidity in our floor, and we could produce wet floor, and we could produce chill peaks by that way. Or, if we have lower speed and at inlet, we could drop cold air on the back of the peaks, and we are chilling the peak, but that way. So it's different scenario. If we have incorrect air mixing rate, we will have more gases, and dust in our environment, and we could produce health problem too. So that lower speed could be coming from infiltration, could coming from fan power failures, or because we have to open inlets. So if we are going to our heater settings, for sure we are not resolving part of the problem, incorrect air mixing rate. So we will have our gases inside, and maybe we will produce more propane cost, just because we are not seeing the complete picture in our problem, just reacting by visual. So from this point, we have our third opportunity in the field. Troubleshooting procedures at the slat level, in the barn, not in the office. Maybe it's a basic thing, but it's very important. When the people find some opportunity, how they can fix that if they don't know exactly the procedures. So I mentioned the procedures. It's very important to have the procedures in the at the slat level. So in this specific case, we have one table with a challenge, what will be the challenge that we are seeing, and the checkpoint that we want to check or to review. So visual things in this case was wet slat and piling peaks. If we have our tools, we could know if we have lower speed or not. If we found, hey, we have lower speed, pile peaks, wet slat, and we are reviewing our checkpoint, we can see at least 8 different checking points. It's not just the second point is heater runtime or brooding temperature or room temperature. We will check our fan power, infiltration, soffit area, comfort zone, naming you. It's important because the people need to know how they can resolve the problem, no? Because it's in that moment that they have the problem. We cannot wait too much. So at the end, the 3 basic but very good opportunity that we are finding in our peak producer at the slat level are, first, they don't have clear goals. Second, if they have clear goals, they don't know how they can measure that, or they don't have the tool to measure that. And third, how they will resolve the problem by the troubleshooting procedures. 3 basic things, but I think that those are the more important opportunities that we are finding in our visit. Thank you.